Hi guys, and welcome to another video from me, Ray Qureshi. So first of all, as always, thank you so much for the great feedback and the amazing guests do not stop. So now I welcome Mr. Andy Martin, aka FPL underscore tactician. Andy, we've tried it again. How are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks, Ray. Cheers for having me on. Great to be here. Love to see your face. It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. So for a little bit of history, I was introduced to Andy through Planet FPL and Suj as the Leeds United correspondent. And when I heard you, I was like, oh, this is one of my favorite guests because, you love your team so much, maybe blindly sometimes, but I'm just like, and Leeds United are my second team. So I have such a huge affinity with them because my dad supports them and I supported them since he was 6. Which is really weird because he's London born and bred, Pakistan, but came to London. But where
Hmm.
he lived, there were either Leeds or Liverpool, and he
Yeah.
picked Leeds because they were, as he says, dirty Leeds. They get in your face.
So was this back in the 1970s then? Your dad?
Absolutely,
Pretty much. Yeah. Yes.
absolutely. So, and then um, I got word that Andy was at the fest, but I already booked a ticket by then, so I didn't stalk him too much. And all I thought was, I saw him, and I'm like, at one moment, I gotta have a chat with him, even if it's just for 2 minutes. And when we got talking, I felt like we could have gone for ages because we were just talking about Leeds United. So yeah, man, and then get you here. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's really good chat, and it's a shame that I didn't speak to you longer. I think I was just heading home because London to Bournemouth, had to get the train back, and you just couldn't meet. You couldn't speak to everyone at Fest. There's so many people you want to talk to, and it's just a good atmosphere. And it was great to chat to you there. And
Yeah, man.
anytime anyone wants to talk about Leeds, I'm all happy to do it. So it's all good.
Hell yeah. And then we've done, I mean, how many spaces do I do, Andy? It's quite embarrassing now.
Every space you're on, like I think, okay, I might listen into this one. Oh, Ray's chatting again, Rubber Ducky's chatting again, and it's like those two are the guys that are
We have our
always in every
crew.
space.
We have
Yeah,
our
we,
crew.
we have got a crew. We've got a crew.
But what this video is about, it's about Andy's history of supporting Leeds. Of course, we're going to sneak a little FPL there because that's where the man makes the bucks. So, how we'll start before that is give us a little inkling about Andy Martin, the man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Andy Martin, the man. Yeah. So I lived in Bournemouth my whole life. Still live in Bournemouth now. I'm a single man, so ladies, hit me up. Get on the old wireless and. Um, but yeah,
It might be MySpace soon after what
yeah,
happened
exactly,
yesterday.
exactly right. And I started a new job this year, which is quite exciting. So I work for the council, but it's
Okay.
looking after the beach at Bournemouth. So I'm classed as a beach ranger, which means kind of looking after people, security of the beach, clearing up litter. You've got an arcade, amusement arcade as well. So it's kind of a mixture of jobs, and I'm just enjoying being out and about down the beach. So every day heading to the beach is just a great job, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's just it's a really nice job to have. So out the office,
Nice.
I used to be in an office like insurance for 10 years, and I was done with that. So yeah,
What a complete change from the office environment to being outside, enjoying nature. It's a lovely beach.
yeah, it's the best beach I think in the country. So
Agree.
um, and that's why I wouldn't ever move away from Bournemouth. I don't think. Like I go to London to visit and other cities, but I can't wait to get home and to be a walking distance from the beach is just really nice.
Phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely brilliant. So,
and it's a long
history
way
as a
from
lead. Oh,
it's a long way from Leeds as well.
I was about to say that. Perfect transition. Is how do you become a Leeds fan, man?
Yeah. So how I
What a
became a
story
Leeds.
this must be.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty similar to yourself. I mean, as your dad was a Leeds fan, but so growing up, my granddad is a Leeds fan.
Hmm.
He's a Yorkshire man. He's no longer with us, but he was a great guy. Um, and my uncle then supported Leeds as well. And my uncle was quite similar in age, so it's my mum's younger brother. So it's only like 10 years difference. So when I was growing up, he was like the guy to guide me through life, and he's the person I respected the most. And when Leeds won the title in 1992, and I was 6 or 7 years old, and my uncle supported Leeds, my granddad supported Leeds.
Oh, mate.
It was Leeds definitely. So yeah, I mean, my dad is kind of a West Ham fan, but we won't go there. And it was never going to be West Ham. It was always going to be Leeds, I think.
You won the last old division, right?
Yeah,
The old first division before it became the Premier League. Am I correct?
that's correct.
Leeds
Yeah,
United.
next season was the start of the Premier League, so we won it just before, and that's obviously the last time we won the top flight.
How often are you able to get there? Like, are you able to watch some games?
Yeah, well, I mean, I try to go once a season,
Okay.
so hardly any at all, really. I'll try and go to London away games if I can get tickets
Hmm.
with my uncle, but yeah, it is tough to get tickets because Ellen Road is always a sellout, and obviously the distance as well. And because I do coaching with football team on Saturday, it kind of has to be like a Friday or Sunday game for
Whoa,
me
whoa,
to.
whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on. You coach football? Come on!
Well,
I
it's
always
just
get one of these in these videos. Someone always does a slip, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, tell me a bit
go
more
back to that.
about
Go back to that.
that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do some football coaching for an adult team in Bournemouth.
Brilliant.
Um, just on the side, just trying to dabble in football coaching, try my best.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, it's a good environment, good banter. Enjoy that. I've been doing that for 7-8 years now.
Fantastic. Do you actually
Yeah.
play with them? Like, do you actually play games like a goals or power league? You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's 11 aside
okay,
on
brilliant,
a Saturday morning.
brilliant.
Um, yeah, I'll play if needs be, but I like to stay on the sidelines and keep myself fresh for the rest of the day. Because if I play 90 minutes, I'm gone. Like, there's no way I'm coming back the rest of the day. I'm just achy and red face. So yeah,
Love it.
those days are gone.
Yeah, yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I'm still holding on to the dream, but it's a thin dream, man.
Yeah,
Playing on Wednesdays is hard.
yeah, I know. Is that 5-a-side as well for yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I captain a veteran side at our local goals, and we've only been going for about 6 months, but we've been promoted twice, so it's
Okay.
really good. But as a captain, it's hard work, man. Like, you gotta
Well, you're
who's
doing something
playing,
right there. Yeah, you're doing
money.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing as well. The money and organising logistics and stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a good crack. I enjoy it. So
Class, man, class. So, usually when you pick a football, I'll take that back. I feel a football team picks you. That's why I never have a go at people who support a team and they're not from the area. Like, I actually don't care. I absolutely don't care because for me, a team selects you in a certain affinity, and usually that's through a football player. So mine was Ian Wright for Arsenal. The moment I saw Ian Wright, because we're not too dissimilar in age, I might be a little bit older,
hmm
is it was Ian Wright. And I said, Dad, who's that? And he goes, "Oh, that's Ian Wright. And he plays for a London team. And he's like from Peckham, he's from your kind of area as well." So
yeah,
I felt like he was my guy, to be cheeky.
your connection to a player. Yeah, I
Did
mean,
you have that?
yeah, I mean, interesting you said about Ian Wright because the first ever Leeds game I went to was actually at Highbury.
Oh,
I saw Arsenal against Leeds and we lost 3-0. And Ian
good
Wright
game.
scored. Yeah, great game, great first game to go to. Ian Wright scored twice that day as well, so I could see the talent there.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just think that Leeds is in my blood, even though it's through my granddad. You have this connection when you're younger. Like, I know they won the league, so it's perhaps glory hunting a little bit, and you kind of get into football like 6 or 7. But I could have a connection with like Liverpool, who were a good team at that time, Manchester United, a good team, but
Yep.
you just fall in love with a club for no reason other than like it takes your imagination and like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this is it, this is my club, Leeds United. So
Was there a player that took you?
um, no, I wouldn't say it's a player at that time. I would say
Okay.
it's. I mean, there's a player probably in the mid 90s. We'll probably cover later, but at that time it was just they won the league. My uncle supports them. My granddad supports them. Yeah, I think
Why not?
that's what did it. Yeah, yeah,
They won the league.
yeah.
They're the
They won the
best
league.
team.
Yeah.
What happened, Andy? What happened?
I mean, yeah, and we've been through tough times. I tell you what, in the last 20 years. So um, I wish I picked a different team at that time.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. So, my dad, is obviously following Leeds at that point, and he's a lot older, like in his 60s, and we're watching as many games as we can on TV, and it's just so hard to watch. It's hard to watch him And then it's hard for me to watch as my second team because of the players, like we went through a litany of players, which we will do in a bit. And when they got promoted, I never do, me and my dad, but we went out and got absolutely slaughtered.
Mm.
We got absolutely hammered to the hills. It was such a massive celebration. Just he and I went out to go drinking the moment we knew that they got promoted because it was such a special moment. And not to sound cheesy, but it was Leeds are supposed to be here. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah. And that's what it is. For me, it was kind of relief, kind of like, wow, we've finally done it. Because you just think it's never going to happen. Like the season before when we finished third, and we did so well that season, and let it slip around Easter time. But the pain of not doing it, and you're thinking you got to go again next season under Bielsa and try again. And then when we finally got promoted, I mean, not many people know this, but I mean, no one knows this apart from James at Planet FPL. But I sent a video of like myself crying and just relief. Like, yeah, and it's not something I shared on social media or anything, but I was like, James, I'm going to be Planet FPL correspondent now. We've done it. And I didn't want to commit to anything before that moment. I didn't want to jinx it. And
absolutely.
And just, the feeling of like being so happy and overwhelmed. And I was just an evening of just drinking on my own, crying. Yeah, brilliant feeling, really. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah. I mean, my dad and I don't remember a lot of the night before, but we remembered we went out and got hammered.
Fair play, exactly right. The right thing to do, definitely. Yeah, I had a few drinks that night as well.
That's the one and only time I've got hammered with my dad. The one and only time.
Yeah, I think it was it Smith Rowe as well that scored a goal for the team that got promoted? I can't remember if it was Smith Rowe or something. Was it Swansea that scored? I can't remember the player.
Been,
yeah, Swansea against West Brom, I think it was, to get us over the line. Yeah.
Okay. Class, man, class. So it's your second season now, and there's this myth which is sometimes very true about second season syndrome. Fortunately, you got a well-deserved 1-0 win against Watford, and I just want to know what are your expectations this season? Are you looking higher, or is it just about survival, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, for me at the start of the season, I thought we wouldn't do as well. Last season we got 59 points, but I think my expectations for this season was to get to 50 points. That's how I feel we are as a team. So kind of mid-table, just below, is where I expect us to finish. And I don't think we'll be too far away from that. I don't really think we'll be in threat of relegation. Our team is, and our coach is better than that. And there's definitely 3 worse teams in the league than us. I can't see us being in trouble. And I said 50 points, 0 goal difference is kind of where I expect us to be at the end of the season. Around about those kind of figures. Yes, we flirted a bit in the opening weeks with relegation. I think hopefully that'll be as close as we get to the bottom 3, because I think we can kick on, and we've got the players to do that. And I think the players we have, as long as the core players stay fit, we won't be in any danger at all. So for me, you're looking at Llorente, Calvin Phillips, and Rafinha.
We need him to stay fit, don't we, Llorente? Really do.
Oh, we really do.
He's so good.
He is so good. Honestly, he's perhaps more important than Rafinha is to our team. He's just that the presence he has at the back is just really, really good, and we really need him to stay fit. And if we do, with Calvin Phillips, with Rafinha, it's going to be fine. But yeah, if you say now, like obviously Leeds fans are happy if we finish 17th, but the expectations now after the first season, I can see us being 12th, 13th, and that's going to be absolutely fine.
I think what Leeds have been able to establish really quickly is build a proper spine. So you got Meslier, Llorente, Calvin, Rafinha, and Bamford. I mean, those, if you play your cards right, that could be like your spine for like 5-6 years, Andy. And they're all going to get better.
Yeah, I don't think Rafinha is going to stay much longer. He's a Champions League player, and I was worried he might go this summer. But if we keep him until the next summer, it's fine. He can go on to bigger and better things. He'll go with hopefully left on good terms by the end of it, and hopefully get some good money as well.
Do you think he'll leave even if Bielsa stays? Because I just feel people love Bielsa. They play for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Rafinha's happy. There's no reason for him to leave, but if his ambition is Champions League football, which I think it is, I think he sees himself as a really, really good player, and he is a great player who can
Amazing.
achieve great things. So to not play Champions League football for another season is perhaps a bit much. So we're just enjoying where we can, I think.
Do you think there are any other players who could possibly be on the market for other teams to try and poach? I mean, because Calvin Phillips, I think's amazing.
He is amazing, but there's something about Calvin Phillips that I think he'll stay at Leeds all the time. I don't think money is the heart for him. His heart is Leeds United through and through. And growing up the club, being Bielsa's golden child, he knows his club and he knows what it is to play for Leeds United. And for me, losing Calvin Phillips to anyone would be heartbreaking. Rafinha, great player, but we kind of accept that as Leeds fans. He can go on to bigger, greater things because of his talent. But Calvin Phillips, as a Leeds boy, has grown through the system. It'd be hard to see him go, but I don't think he'll go unless we get relegated. If we get relegated, fair enough. But I think he's happy to stay at Leeds for the future.
Brilliant segue into the next section of Ultimate 11. Where, first of all, can you see that okay, Andy?
Yeah, I can see that. I remember what I said anyway, and it's a bit controversial because of one position, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. I threatened Andy, and I said, if you don't have Lucas Radebe in this team, it's over. Like, no, we're not mates anymore. We're not on Twitter anymore. You're dead to me. And he goes, "Don't worry, Ray, I got him." Before you go, I have a huge affinity for Lucas Radebe or Radebe or Radebe, because I just thought he was one of the best centre halves when there were great centre halves in the league. He plays the game the right way. I think he'd fit now because of his reading of the game. He was always a good passer, distributed the ball well, a leader.
Such a good
amazing
leader. Probably one of the best leaders we've ever had. So good, yeah.
But you go ahead, man. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I mean, when you first said do your Ultimate 11, I was kind of like, okay, this will be quite easy. I know what players to fit in. And then it got to a couple of positions. I was like, man, this is tough now. And it took me a while to kind of narrow it down. The goalkeeper, I've gone with Robinson because of the Champions League run. He was one of the main reasons for that. I mean, we had Nigel Martin as well, but
yeah.
I mean, Paul Robinson was, for us in the early 2000s, was so good. I thought he was one of the best goalkeepers in the world at that time. I love watching him, the saves he pulled off. Yeah, Nigel Martin could have been Nigel Martin as well because of how good he was, but Robinson was something else when he started his career at Leeds. He was phenomenal, and he could have been an England's national there and then. When as soon as he started, he hit the ground running, and I just loved him. I loved his style, his shot stopping. John Lukic is another one. I mean, in my younger days, John Lukic was a top-class keeper, and he was the 1992 goalkeeper when we won the league. So he was also a consideration. But as it's my team, Paul Robinson, in his early 20s, was unstoppable at times. So, and he's someone that flew through the air like
a salmon.
Yeah, like a salmon, and it was someone that I'd never seen. I know he had like Schmeichel around at that time, but he was more of a presence. Robinson was just an unbelievable shot stop. Some of the saves, you should go and see that. Yeah, so Robinson got the nod, just about.
That was the time when I was really following like football proper. At that point, I'm like 17, 18. And I mean, he would have been England number one if Seaman wasn't so favoured.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's some good keepers around at that time.
Yeah. So, go with your back line, man. Maybe player by player, however you want to do it.
Yeah, so we'll start with Tony DeRigo. People are obviously going to probably think, why not Ian Hart? Tony DeRigo was someone, when I first started watching Leeds, he was the man that caught my eye. Just up and down, the energy on the left-hand side. He had a great delivery.
Yep. And
he was kind of like my first player that would have posters up on my wall, like Tony DeRigo. He's just like, I felt close to him when I watched him.
Wow.
Yeah, I had that connection with Tony Durigo.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
England's national as well. So he was a quality left back, and yeah, he did really well. Gary Kelly, stalwart right back,
Yeah,
had a good career at Leeds, never let us down, solid, dependable, kind of like a Dennis Irwin type for
yeah,
Manchester United. Really, Gary Kelly was a great right back, and again, growing up, it's kind of that Gary Kelly is on the right. You know you can depend on him.
yes,
That's why I put him in there. All the back line is from similar era, really. Radaby
yeah,
and Woodgate, great defenders. You know how good they were, the presence they had. Woodgate went on to Real Madrid and got the move to Real Madrid because how good he was. I was never going to put Rio Ferdinand in there because of his career. He went to Manchester United. Um, Llorente's a quality centre back now, but Woodgate and Radaby stand out for me in my youth. Watching them play, great players.
How good could Jonathan Woodgate have been if he wasn't so injury prone? I mean, every time he played, it was just class personified, wasn't it? But he
It
just
was
couldn't stay fit.
no, that was another thing that just blighted his career.
Mm.
People don't really talk about Woodgate much because of the injuries he had. He never got a chance to play for England because they had Terry and Ferdinand for whilst Woodgate was in his prime.
And so Campbell.
Sol Campbell, sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
as well, yeah. But Woodgate he was quick as well. He was good at if a forward had run past him, Woodgate was someone that could catch him up and
yeah,
put a challenge in. He was electrifying. So it's a shame that injuries did dent his career.
yeah. So we go on to midfield, and wow, Rafinha, man. Jeez, how did he get in this 11?
Rafinha, no
I mean, he's
questions asked, right?
amazing, but
No questions asked, right? Ultimate 11. You got to have Rafinha in there. You got to watch Brazilian flair Rafinha.
you know, Lee Boyle would just crunch the shit out of him if he saw him take his position on the right.
He would. But who would you rather watch go and see play, right? Rafinha or Lee Barrier?
Hands
Who's
down, Rafinha.
who's going to
Hands
get you
down.
off your seat? Who's going to get you off your seat?
Hands down.
If I'm doing my Leeds 11, it's definitely Rafinha. So
Class.
yeah.
And yeah, go through it, man. Keep going through it. So
Well,
Speed, McAllister, Phillips.
this is the tough thing because growing up, Speed and McAllister were just the ultimate duo in centre midfield,
Yep.
and I couldn't leave one of them out, but I couldn't also leave Phillips out. So I kind of adjusted it a bit to put Speed on the left. But when it was Speed and McAllister, watching him in the mid-90s, you had McAllister who never lost the ball. He was someone that had close control, could ping a pass anywhere in the field, kept it ticking along, put a
Yep.
challenge in. He's a box-to-box midfielder as well, so had a great shot on him, great penalty, great set pieces. McAllister was underrated, so underrated.
That stint he had at Liverpool was unbelievable.
Yeah, and Gerard talked about it a lot, doesn't he? About
Yeah.
Gary McAllister, how he helped him develop his game, and he's done that throughout his career. You watch Scotland games from the mid-90s, and he controls games. So like you watch the Euro '96 game against England, and
Yep.
Gary McAllister is probably the best player on that pitch that day. I know Gascoigne takes the headlines because of the goal he scored, but if you watch McAllister that day, he never loses the ball, pings it across, and Scotland are on top quite a lot. And that's the kind of player McAllister was. He's just always in control. Never looked like he was breaking sweat, but always had the ball in close control. And yeah, I love watching him. And the good thing was that he had Speed next to him, who was Mr. Energy, Mr. Get around the pitch, Mr. Everywhere. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was tough to leave one of them out because I need to have both in to be my ultimate 11. And Calvin Phillips is Calvin Phillips. We've not had a DM this good since Olivier Dacour. Olivier Dacour, by the way,
You read it. You read my mind.
Olivier Dacour at a time I would say was getting on par with Vieira.
Thank you, and I agree.
Yeah, do you agree? Yeah,
I fully agree.
thanks, mate. I appreciate that. And Dacour was hard to leave out. In around about 99, 2000, Dacour was special. One of the best CDMs in the world.
We couldn't beat you in that midfield because whilst we had Vieira and Petit stroke Parla and then Edu and then just before Gilberto came, we couldn't get past Batty and Dacour.
Yeah,
Those two kept having us. It was an absolute physical battle. But you know what always trumped it? was Decore's calmness in those games. Not only could he tackle, put a boot in, but just the calmness of just saying, I'm in control of the situation, that I feel always trumped us in midfield. Because there was like 2 or 3 years we couldn't beat you. We
Mm.
couldn't beat you. And that included our double winning year in 2002. We just couldn't beat you, man. You were that 4-4-2 you had with Decore and Batty, because
Yeah,
sometimes you'd play Decore and Backer, but we'd
yeah.
overrun you. So you'd
hmm
bring on Batty and then, Olivier Decore, mate, just, yeah,
He, he
special
he
place.
he was incredible, and he's close to this team because of how good he was.
Hmm.
I also want to shout out for Lewis Cook as well in centre midfield. Like he started his career at Leeds, and when he was 17, 18 playing for us, I thought this guy is England quality. Like I know we're in a lower division, so perhaps he stands out a lot, but it's such a shame that his injuries have blighted his career because he was special in his teenage years, and he showed that in the England team in the youth of
Yeah.
how good he was.
Yeah.
So he was part of the England under-18 World Cup winners, I
Yes,
think,
he was. Yeah.
and one of the best players as well. And for us, he was incredible. Like he stood out, and I thought he'd go on to captain England and stuff and things like that. It hasn't worked out yet, but hopefully he comes back at Bournemouth and injuries won't hinder him too much. But
How old is he right now? He's what, 24?
yeah, I don't know, 23, 24, I guess. Yeah, about that.
Still
But
time, man.
still time, and good luck to him. But when he was 17 for us, I was like, wow, I was like blown away. Like I haven't seen a player that good in years and years. So Lewis Cook deserves a shout as well.
One guy I thought would be a shoe-in would be an Aussie on the left. Was he
Yeah,
close to getting into this team, Harry Kewell?
he was close. He was close, and he was another player from that era that was good. I think that the move to Liverpool was a bit unsavoury at the time. The reason I didn't put him in, so he won't go down as a Leeds. He will still go down as a Leeds legend, but not as big a Leeds legend as he could have been.
Yeah.
Because of that move. But yeah, great player. And for us, he had his best time in his career, no doubt about it. Great on the left side, and again part of the Champions League semi-final winning, semi-final Champions League
Run.
team. Yeah,
Run,
run.
yeah. I mean, he's not here and he was never going to be here, but Michael Bridge in that campaign was just unbelievable, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bridge.
Michael Bridges, yeah.
Bridges, sorry.
Yeah, great player. And we had a lot of good players in that time. So, I mean, during my lifetime, it's probably the late 90s, early 2000s was when we had our good spell. Yeah.
Do you think with that squad that you got, you underachieved?
I wouldn't say underachieved. I think we gambled too much. I think that we would be established top 4 team if we'd have got in Champions League the following year, which we gambled so hard to get. And I think we would have been more established if that happened. The gamble didn't pay off. We went for it, and with wages and other stupid things like Robbie Fowler contracts that lasted for like 10 years and stuff like that. But
crazy. You didn't even need him.
No, we didn't. And it's like, Robbie, yeah, have a look at this contract. He's like, yeah, where do I sign? Like, but yeah, so I don't think we underachieved. I think that we were just slightly short.
Yeah.
The next season, and if we'd have made it, I think it would have been fine, and we would have gone on to better things, perhaps. But I'm not going to slate O'Leary because O'Leary did such a fine job, and we were such a young team at the time as well.
And also, I think the 2 teams you're up against, Man U and Arsenal, are those teams are some of the Premier League's best ever. Because Henry broke in and started to really take the world by storm, if you like, and we always had that backline, and of course Manchester United. I mean, come on, man! Like,
yeah, at that time,
Scholes, Keane.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So we'll go to the front line, and I made my own team, but I won't share. Maybe I will to you. I will to you offline.
Okay.
And Yeboah wasn't in it, but Yeboah is. I don't know why. He's like one of my favorite ever strikers.
Everyone loves Yeboah, right?
The way he played. I still don't know which goal I prefer out of the Wimbledon Liverpool ones, but they're both 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, please just wax lyrical on Yeboah because he did some. When players do something for you out of like the joy, especially when you're younger and you're growing up and watching. Yeboah, the way he played that half a season or that season, I've never seen anything like it.
It was just incredible. Everything he just shot. The shot he had him was just so fierce, and he was so quick. And as a 8, 9 year old, watching him and like really getting into football. So like you're 8, 9 years old, getting into
Yeah.
football, you support Leeds, and your Boa's blasting him in from all angles, and you like watching Match of the Day as a youngster, and you're just like glued to the screen. You're seeing all the replays. You're watching it throughout the week on different things as you try and cut out newspaper clippings of your Boa and stuff like that. It was just your Boa mania, and I think for a lot of people, even if they weren't Leeds fans, it was just like your Boa goal of the month. How is this guy doing it? I don't know if you've seen it, but the hat trick against Monaco.
Yep.
If you haven't, yeah, have you seen that?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Christ.
He's just so quick as well. The way he takes it around defenders and bangs it in, and I think we only had him for a couple of years, but in that time he was special. And if you hit a shot, it goes off the crossbar. It's your Boa still, right? From a long way out. And that's the legacy he leaves. Yeah.
Which goal did you prefer? Because I'm struggling.
The Wimbledon. I prefer the Wimbledon one.
Okay.
Because of the few touches before, I think he's meant it off his like thigh and then his chest a bit.
And then on the bounce. Oh my god.
Yeah, I prefer the Liverpool one.
Oh, you prefer the Liverpool one?
No, sorry, the Wimbledon one. Yeah, the Wimbledon one.
I can't begrudge either. They're both legit 10 out of 10 goals. Seriously. Yeah. One guy that you haven't included here, who I would have, but because he really is one of the best strikers from the Premier League. I know I say that a lot, but Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank is just a hero almost of mine as a footballer, because he maximized absolutely everything he could in his game, isn't it? Like everything. Sometimes I feel like players don't squeeze every single ounce of their ability they can. And one that I currently look at is like Anthony Martial. I think everything is there, Andy, for him, but he doesn't have the mindset for me.
Yeah.
I look at Hasselbank and I look at a player who squeezed every single ounce that he could. And when he first came into the Premier League in '97, I want to say, yeah, it's when Arsenal won the league.
Let's get that in there, yeah.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle in there. He was unbelievable. And for every single club he played for, he was brilliant. And I know he's not in the team, but was Hasselbank someone who was close?
He was close, yeah, and he definitely close. And he played alongside Rod Wallace for a while, who was also close. Another good striker that we had growing up. So those two names were definitely considered. But these two names that I've put in, I think were definitely like just legendary status at the club, and two players that will go down in history for us. So, yeah.
And before Hasselbank bangers, there were your Boa bangers.
Exactly right. Yeah. There were some great Hasselbank goals as well. Yeah.
Yeah, against us, bastard. Anyway, why do I keep...
Another name as well that I consider was Luciano Becchio.
Awesome player.
Awesome player for us, and definitely a fan's favourite. And I watched him live plenty of times, and again, he was classy in a lower league. Doesn't get the credit perhaps that he should get. I really liked Becchio. Yeah.
But the main man.
Mark Viduka. What a guy, eh? That time was... To have Viduka in the team was just brilliant. He could do everything. He could win balls in the air, great feet on the ground, touch, poise, balance. Lovely to watch. Such a big guy, big, strong guy, and you think he shouldn't have that kind of touch that he did, but he did. And he had such finesse with his feet. It was just really great to watch. So, yeah, had to be Mark Viduka.
Sorry, Viduka.
Viduka.
I have to go back. Wait. Sorry. Rewind.
Go back again.
Yeah. So not only, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Andy saved me from depression during the first lockdown, because I was one of the first people who, when the group started about Chatman, I was one of the first people that was reached out to, and Andy was doing the streams, man. So you saved me from proper depression. So for that first season, I did my own Sims for a few seasons, like 10
Brilliant.
seasons.
Yeah.
I got a whole Excel sheet out about here are the players who are doing well. Here's this, and I literally just posted it out on Twitter and then added at Chatman FPL. And I think sometimes they would retweet it and stuff like that. Andy, that first pandemic, you guys saved us, mate, because there was no FPL, there was nothing, but we
Mm.
could do it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's good to know that had the case. I mean, people were at home, stuck at home, nothing to do, and people that love FPL like myself and yourself, to not have it, to not have anything, like an empty space, people needed something. So it was good that me and Dave came together and just built this Chatman community, and it just steamrolled, and everyone loved it, and it's always get great feedback. So yeah, we enjoyed doing it. It helped people during lockdown, which was good. We raised some money for charity, which is great as well. So
yep.
really proud of what we did. And,
BBC article.
BBC did this article. There's nothing else, right? There's no other sport. So
What made you? How did you know what I mean? How did the inception come? I mean, it's incredible.
yeah, I just saw a tweet from Dave saying I'm going to sign off unless someone wants to do a Chatman version of FPL or something like that. And I was like, I messaged him back saying, why can't we do that? Why can't we create a Chatman FPL style game for the community? We spent the weekend together on chatting, running sims, looking at how we can price players, and we thought, okay, this might work, but we need someone who's technical and does spreadsheets well. Reached out, and the community came back, and James Laprin came back and built this game, and then just snowballed. And yeah, first lockdown was crazy time, but we had Chatman and kept us busy, and yeah.
Especially when there was the teething process where we all had our Excel sheets that you all
Yeah,
made
yeah,
for us, and then after that you put it into like a proper browser using site. It was, yeah, man, the whole inception. You got a couple of guys like Man on Pod, Dronuk, Darren, and Thomas, who I
hmm
know. They were, they have specific sections for what are you doing in Chatman,
yeah.
and it's absolutely brilliant. And of course, I want you to share more, but in my top 3 games ever, there's still one I kind of am unsure, but one, yeah, number one is Pro Evo 5, the one with Henri and Terry on the cover,
hmm
and the second one is Champman 0102. Like that game, yeah. Let's just say a lot of wasted education was
Oh,
because of
for me, I've been playing that game for 20 years. I've not moved on from Chatman 0102.
amazing.
That's why it was Chatman 0102. It's the goat of Championship Manager. And yeah, I love the game so much. And I'm still stuck in my teenage years playing that game. So a lot of wasted hours. Yeah, we could have been doing saving the world, right, Ray? But we chose not to. We chose to play
Uh,
Chatman. Yeah.
why cure cancer when I can buy Freddie Adu? But I will definitely have more conversations about you on that offline, man, because I don't know how, but I'd love to contribute one way or another. I don't know how because it touches my heart, that game,
Mm,
because it's funny you were talking about a feeling of like Leeds United and stuff. Champman gives me a feeling. Does that make sense? It's really corny, but it's just I reminisce all those years. I remember everything. I remember the 4-3-1-2. I remember how me and 3 of my mates would spend weekends playing against each other, yeah, in
yeah,
one season
and you
around
gather
one computer.
around the computer. Like we had like chair. I was in sixth form, and we had like proper sofas and chairs all gathered around a PC, and you step up to the PC when it's your game, and like you just like it's mad, isn't it? But
I love it.
it was so good, and like to have a PC in a room and like
Yes.
6 of us on different chairs and sofas. Like Adam, it's your go, and like you sit down, and then he plays his game. How'd you get on? And you go,
Everyone's
oh,
watching. You're all
yeah,
watching like
oh.
that.
So great memories. I love the
Brilliant.
game, and I think that's why people liked it so much because of you can reminisce for players that 20 years ago, and a lot of us are similar age to myself and you, growing up with
Yeah.
these players, and it was a good time for the Premier League as well when you had like all the forwards and people like Henri and Shearer, and
Oh,
so
Van
yeah,
Nistelrooy
Van
and Veron.
Nistelrooy,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good
Wow.
times. So yeah, it's the right choice and it's the right time to go with, and yeah, loved it.
Fantastic, man. Well, I want to say to you, and I'm sure the community have, thank you, man, Andy. You really did save me personally. So yeah, man, I owe you. I owe you a pint that I still haven't got you yet, but I'll get it for
No,
you.
no,
Don't
no,
worry.
no. It's all right. Don't worry, don't worry.
Fantastic. So absolutely, I think your Ultimate 11 has just so much variety in it. It would be a great team. Let's just be honest with you. If this team came out today, it would do some serious damage.
Yeah, I mean it's quite heavy from the years we were successful, and not from the years that we were unsuccessful. I mean, we could have put like Sam Byram at right back. He was decent, but these are the times. These are the times I remember fondly. So these are the players I got in. Yeah.
Understood. Fantastic, Andy. So what we'll do is we will go to community questions. So per usual, a lot of people very kind enough to send in questions. So we will start with FPL Fella, really good lad. I've been had the pleasure of speaking to him in a few spaces as well. Massive West Ham fan. What would be a successful season for Leeds this season? I mean, we we kind of went through it, but is it 50 points as you kind of said?
I yeah. I mean, success isn't something to like build on from last season. I'm not gonna. I don't think we can beat that, but success is still to be established as a Premier League team.
Hmm.
That's the success. I'm not looking for anything else. I don't think Leeds fans are. We're happy to be in the Premier League. We want to stay in this league now because of the size of the club and how big we are and the history we have as well. So to be here, to stay here, that's what we want to do. Yeah. So anything is successful as long as it's not looking down too much and not being worried about relegation is a success.
Perfect. We'll move on. Thanks for that, fella. FPL Down Under Sam, someone that you and I know very well.
Yeah, good
What
host on the spaces. Yeah, definitely.
he's brilliant, brilliant moderator, all the way from Australia. So, can anyone except Rafinha be a long term option for Leeds? So that's obviously FPL.
Um, yeah, I'd say one more player. I'd say Llorente, who's 4.5 million, is as long as he stays fit. Because the question mark is always, can he stay fit? Um, at 4.5 million, he is someone that's dangerous at set pieces.
Yeah,
So he's good aerially. He's good at keeping the ball, so he's always going to get high pass completion rates. And if we get a clean sheet, then Llorente will be in the bonus points as well.
yeah.
So you can look at him as like your fourth or mid fifth defender. But apart from that, I think it's tough to go with anyone else. And at the start of the season, I would have said Harrison, but because James is there now, it's going to be kind of shared minutes between those two. So I don't even think you can go one or the other there. And I wouldn't even go Rodrigo or Bamford up top because, again,
Mm, yeah.
either or could take the position. And yeah, Bamford is quite a lot, 8 million, I think. So
It's
unfortunately,
a
not. Yeah. I mean, also Meslier. Meslier is always going to get good stats as a keeper. So he is someone that you can.
It's amazing how Jesus, it's amazing how Leeds transform when Lorente plays.
Mm.
You're just a different team at the back, Andy. Like almost night and day. There's poise, there's control, there's structure because he marshals the line so well, and obviously is such a good defender. And it's imperative he stays fit. I mean, cotton wool.
Yeah, I mean, since he's arrived, I actually looked at the win percentage. I think it's doubles when he's in the team.
Wow,
It's that much. So yeah, it's crazy how much already we rely on him to play. So
mm,
um, yeah, crucial.
fantastic. Go to FPL Sonaldo, Andy, another fantastic space moderator. All the way from South Korea. So Annyeonghaseyo, my friend. Awesome, great guest. If Andy could bring in some players for Leeds over the next winter summer transfer period, who would it be and why? So realistic targets.
I think we need a number 10. I thought that's what we're going to get in the summer. Um, I would have loved someone like Conor Gallagher at Leeds,
Mm,
and I don't know why we didn't go for Conor Gallagher. He's kind of someone that's perfect for us because we've had Rodrigo there and he doesn't do as well as he does up top for us.
mhm.
Slick hasn't got the he's got the legs a little bit, but he's not as. I look at someone like Conor Gallagher, I think, oh man, I wish he was in a Leeds shirt
Yeah.
because is that connection that we need between midfield and attack that we're kind of lacking. So a decent number 10. I don't know where we get that from, but I think that links it all together. I think With James, a good addition because you can cover Rafinha and Harrison quite well with James. So I think that's a good addition. Yeah. I would only have Bamford and Rodrigo. I wouldn't play anyone as a number 10, so I'd have Rodrigo as a replacement for Bamford. Okay. And I think we really need that number 10 in there. Targets, yeah, I don't know too much, but hopefully in January we can sign someone.
Yeah. Do Leeds kind of have money to spend? If that makes sense.
Yeah, we do, and I thought we did have more money to spend in the summer. Because we made a deal with the 49ers, American football team. We've got money from them to spend, and I don't know where it's gone really. So, yeah, hopefully, come January we can have some money given to us to get one more player. And if not, then maybe Rafinha goes in the summer, and we build a squad from the money we get from him.
How much do you think you can get for him?
I think 70 million.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he's that good. Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable to want that figure.
I think he's better than Pepe, Sancho, and they already cost more than the figure you're saying.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Great question. Great answer. Stadium of Sports, Jay, he runs the FPL Roundup show at FPL Juice. And I also have an association with them. I'm the Arsenal juicer. So Leeds are great, but if Bielsa ever left, they could fall apart. He makes ordinary players good. Is there money to invest in the squad? It's almost covering the last question, really.
Yeah, I mean, if I dread to think the day Bielsa leaves, and I've thought about it. I've lied in bed thinking, oh my goodness, if Bielsa leaves, what happens? Like this squad isn't good enough without Bielsa, and I still genuinely believe that. I think we have too many Championship players in our team still, but because Bielsa's been our coach and managed to coach the team, we're now an established Premier League team where we wouldn't be anywhere near with this squad. And this squad is still existence from the mid-table of the Championship. And it's only because Bielsa has coached this team to death that we're in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you look at people like Bamford, who's developed well, Calvin Phillips, who's developed. And these were average players before Bielsa came in, really. But the way he trains and the way he develops players is just brilliant. He's still trying to work on Tyler Roberts, but hopefully he'll get there.
He almost scored an absolutely unbelievable goal the other day. I wanted to message you.
I can't. Yeah, he got his foot around that, didn't he? Wow, incredible shot off the bar. But yeah.
Look, we all can hit the pigeon when we shoot in the dark, you know. Excellent. During the international break, do you switch off from FPL? Like, you pretty relaxed?
I don't really switch off from FPL. I love it too much, really. I would switch off if I wasn't enjoying it, but because I love it, I keep interacting. There's not an hour of the day I don't think about FPL, to be honest. Switching off, I'm happy to put my phone down and watch a TV program or film during the season, but FPL is always on my mind and I don't get switch off from it. So yeah, no, not particularly.
Yeah, I put mine down as well when I sleep. Yeah,
yeah. I think like this weekend, it gives me a chance to watch the F1 properly. Gives me a chance to watch the NFL properly and stuff like that. So yeah, only for that reason is where I switch off on a weekend, perhaps. Yeah.
Brilliant. A last question from Jay. Excuse me. Thoughts on Bamford as an FPL asset? Can he be as good as last season?
I don't think Bamford's a good FPL asset because of his price. I think if he was 6.5 million, it's different. But 8 million, when you look at other strikers in that price range, and the fact Rodrigo has always looked good when he's played in number 9 up top.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
I think that I wouldn't go Bamford as an asset. I think you go Rafinha. If you want to be brave and go Meslier or Llorente, it's fine. But Bamford at 8 million is too much. If it was 6.5, it's different. But 8 million is a lot for your budget.
Yeah. Well, Andy, that's absolutely brilliant, man. Before we kind of wrap it up, it's a very different type of video. What are your thoughts, man? Did you enjoy it? Was it all right?
Really enjoy it, mate. Just love chatting to you. So you're a great guy, great host. Yeah, let's do more of this.
Oh no! Look what you've
Oh,
done. Oh, look what you've done. Shouldn't say that.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to. Yeah.
Nah, man, really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, I asked Andy like 6, 7 weeks ago, and he says, "Ray, I got a lot happening, but I'll get back to you." And you did get back to me, man. You're a man of your word, and of course, I gave you the respect to. If you could come back to me, I appreciate it. If you can't, fully understand. So, really, man, you're one of the. There's sometimes a few FPL content creators out there that I feel are a little bit shady, but you're not one of them. So, really appreciate your time, man.
I
So,
hope not. I hope not. And I wouldn't say I'm the content creator. I'm just someone who enjoys FPL and
yeah.
enjoys chatting to people about FPL. So I'm just an enthusiast rather than a content creator. Yeah.
And when you can like get a bit of leads in there as well, we got you.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, Andy, how can I follow you, man?
Yeah. Give me a follow. FPL_tactician.
Yeah. On the ticker
Um,
there.
yeah, or hit me up on Facebook if you can find me. Yeah. You
Facebook
put.
one.
I don't know. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Andy, once again, man, thanks a lot. Make sure to follow Andy. He's a really top class guy. Also, the correspondent videos he does with Planet FPL, always really insightful, always knowledgeable, and just honesty as well. And that's all you could want. And also catch him on Twitter on Spaces, because whenever I do a Spaces, I'm like, is Andy going to join? Yep, Andy.
Here I
Doesn't
go.
let me down. Doesn't let me down.
I'm sure there's one. I'm sure there's one tonight somewhere, right? We can find it later. Yeah.
Or make one or whatever. But so it's bye from Andy.
See you guys. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, of course. And cheers, everyone, man. Take care. God bless.